attempted to write Riario out of his story.
Riario? Riario? I never worked on any commission for Riario. Riario was an artistic ignoramus who had no understanding of sculpture whatsoever. The Bacchus was made for a Roman gentleman of very fine intellect named Jacopo Gali. Now you make sure you write that down. Riario.
Michelangelo's bank accounts tell a very different story. The statue, in fact, was commissioned by the Cardinal Riario, who paid a very good price for it and paid for it in full.
The rejection was devastating, but the Bacchus taught Michelangelo a lesson which would stay with him for the rest of his life. The marble for the statue had been flawed and scarred the god's otherwise beautiful face. His quest for perfection would now take him to the very source of the marble. In November 1497, Michelangelo traveled to Carrara in northwest Italy to find a block of marble. The stakes were high. It was a make-or-break moment for the young artist. After the humiliation of the Bacchus, he was given one more chance to prove himself. He was commissioned by a French cardinal to carve a Pietà, a sculpture of the Virgin Mary cradling her dead son. Choosing the right block of marble was crucial, and still is. American attorney Jim Case wants a full-sized copy of the Pietà to grace his new home in Florida. He's being advised by William and sculptor Stephen Cox. They've come to the same quarry Michelangelo used.
Well, my affection for the Pietà goes back to 1971 when I first saw it in Rome. And I was mesmerized by the beauty and the emotion of the piece. And the seed was planted, and I began to think that perhaps it could be recreated. Mm-hmm. And if you two gentlemen can direct me to the right piece of marble, I believe it's possible.
It's going to be difficult to find a block of marble for Jim's copy of the Pietà, one as perfect as Michelangelo's. Marble was vitally important to Michelangelo. It was the material which brought him fame, but it was the one which caused him some of his greatest difficulties.
Marble embodies contradictions. It is hard, yet malleable, cold, yet very warm. There is not a single idea, not even from the best artist, which cannot be realized within it. First, it must be separated from the mountain. Then I must build roads to take it to the town, devise pulley systems, design carts. There are many arts to being a sculptor.
The owner of the Michelangelo quarry, Giuseppe Barattini, is taking Jim to a seam of the purest white marble.
This is the best material we're going to find in the world today for making statues, so I think we may have found your Pietà, Jim.
And the color is, here, look at that.
Materiale, bellissimo.
Yeah, it's almost transparent.
Sì, è luminoso.
È luminoso.
But when we carve our Pietà, Jim, we better make sure that the Virgin's face doesn't show up right in here, where there might be a little bit of black discoloration, and we certainly don't want that crack running anywhere near your block.
But how exactly did Michelangelo extract the marble?
It's the same process used today as was used in ancient times. Two men would have used a saw blade. It's fed with abrasive material, sand or carborundum. And the motors that generate the movement have changed from the hand of man doing this to a machine which does this.
Michelangelo would have exploited natural faults in the marble and used wooden or stone wedges to help lever the great blocks out of the mountain side.
course, now we bring it down by trucks, but he would have brought it straight down the mountainside, and we are very high up. And he would have brought it straight down on wooden sleds by a system called lizzatura, with ropes and a lot of manpower. And it was a very dangerous and a very long process. And there was always the hazards of losing a block or losing a man or more. More than once, Michelangelo himself almost lost his life in this process of bringing the marble down the mountain.
When the marble had been brought down the mountain, there was still a lot of work for Michelangelo to do. It had to be transported to the sea and then shipped to Rome, where he would carve his Pietà.